Hey, welcome to the Good Noise channel once again. um, wanted to talk a little bit today about an important topic in the world of A Course in Miracles that I have not really touched upon yet on this channel. And that is the question of other channeled material that came after A Course in Miracles that claims to be in the same vein or the same tradition as A Course in Miracles, maybe even coming from Jesus, that is a little controversial, like some of these other transmissions. And I'm talking about a couple in particular. And we're really just going to start the discussion today, and then we'll continue on another day. But the two I have in mind are The Way of Mastery and A Course of Love. I'm wondering if any of you have looked into either of these two works. You might call them scriptures. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I wanted to start by talking about A Course of Love. And we're not really going to get into the nitty-gritty and the details today. But essentially, it is a work that came through a woman other than Helen Schuckman, and it claims to be a continuation in a way, or a deepening, or let's say a filling out of A Course in Miracles. And basically, you might say that the main difference between A Course in Miracles and A Course of Love is that A Course in Miracles puts a lot of emphasis on the world as illusion, freeing yourself from the illusion of that is in our minds, that is of the ego. But it does not say a lot about how to live in the world. It does not talk about embodiment, right? This term that's been used a lot in spirituality, and especially these days, which is embodiment, embodying the truth in your life. Now, the question is, even though A Course in Miracles does not talk about that, is it at least pointing in that direction, even though it does not talk about it? I believe it does. I believe that the message of the Course, even though it does not spell it out for us, is that we go beyond our body. We realize that I am not a body. But Jesus keeps talking about in the Course about how we are now his heart, his hands, his feet in the world to carry on the message. And there's that great quote in the Course, which is, "Teach not that I died in vain. Teach rather that I did not die by demonstrating that I live in you." Which means that while you're here in the world, embodied in the world, that you carry on this work and you embody the truth, the message of the Course. Now, A Course of Love, I think, appeals, and The Way of Mastery, and I'm just speaking very generally. I don't know these works very well, actually. I want to say that from the outset, and that's why I'm asking for your input out there. If you have explored these other paths, do you feel that these paths, either of these paths or both of these paths, are in line with A Course in Miracles? Do they contradict A Course in Miracles? Do they misrepresent A Course in Miracles? Not that they, like The Way of Mastery does not claim to be, at least as far as I understand, does not claim to be a continuation of A Course in Miracles per se. It's its own thing. I think A Course of Love is as well. Obviously, a lot of Course in Miracles students read them in conjunction. Course in Miracles students read A Course of Love. Some read The Way of Mastery. I've been asked a number of times as a Course in Miracles student and teacher, I've been asked, have you checked out The Way of Mastery? And I say, no, I have not yet. And I plan to, but I have not as of yet. But in a way, I'm a purist. You know, that's where I am right now. I'm open to being schooled on this, but I'm a purist when it comes to the Course. I think the Course is really all you need. But maybe it isn't all you need. You know, maybe obviously, before I got into A Course in Miracles, I did a number of things, and I explored a lot of different forms of spirituality, including Kabbalah and yoga and Hinduism, Buddhism, etc. So I brought a lot of that with me, and that has helped me to understand A Course in Miracles better. It helps me put it in context. It helps me to see the universality of it all. So it's hard to say, do you just need A Course in Miracles? And that's a whole nother topic that we can get into of, do you, maybe it is good to explore other paths as well. Maybe ultimately you just want to have one path that you focus on, but why not explore other paths and see what they have to offer as well? But, there's a danger of being a dilettante as well, of spreading yourself too thin and not really getting deep into anything. So I think, for me at least, it was important to go deeply into A Course in Miracles. Now I'm at the point, though, where I'm open to seeing the value of other Course in Miracles related things, like A Course of Love and The Way of Mastery. Maybe we'll just end it at that for right now, just to spark the discussion. I would love to hear your thoughts. Particularly if you've really explored both and you have something to say about the differences and the similarities and whether they really are compatible. For example, Gary Renard has made a point to say A Course of Love, the woman that channeled A Course of Love says that the world is not an illusion, apparently, or something like that. Whereas The Course in Miracles says very clearly that the world is an illusion. So that seems to be a major difference. If you go on, in another video I'm going to do this, if you go on the ACIM.org website, they have a whole thing about A Course of Love, and they seem to be suggesting that A Course of Love is not really, they don't say it outright, and they say you got to make up your own mind about this, but they seem to be suggesting that A Course of Love is not harmonious with A Course in Miracles. It's different teaching. Don't get it twisted. Don't get confused about this. They don't say it in so many words, but I think that's the underlying subtext of what they say. So anyway, love to hear your thoughts, and that's all for right now, but I'll be back again soon. All right. Be well.